My husband quietly transferred the new intern to the director's office, without telling me. From that day on, the girl who used to whine about being overworked suddenly ran on rocket fuel, clocking in before dawn and starting out after midnight. Near midnight her message lit up his phone. Awake? You didn't text me goodnight. Too exhausted, Vic? I hate seeing you like this. Empire building all day, then nursemaiding your wife. Did you tell Serena yet? She won't mind, right? Victor answered with a hair ruffle emoji. I call the shots. Name it, it's yours. I didn't make a sound, just closed the screen and rolled over until the sky turned bruised and gray. When I woke the next morning my prosthetic leg was gone. Remembering the vow he'd sworn at my father's grave, I speed-dialed personal. Draft the divorce papers. And leave the break-fault coupe in the subterranean garage, do not service it yet. Before we go on, subscribe and comment where you're listening from. I stared at the hollow room and called Victor, straight to voicemail. The new hire, Clark's replacement, heard me stir and peeked in. Madam, may I help you wash up? Breakfast is ready. I stayed put. Skip it. Bring me my prosthetic. She blinked. Vance took it at dawn, said it needed maintenance. But a specialist makes house calls on a schedule. That date isn't for 2 weeks. I recalled last night's texts and hit redial. This time he picked up. Morning, sweetheart. Did you eat your yogurt like a good girl? The same velvet patience. The same adoration he'd lathered on me since I was 12 and one-legged. For 4 dating to marriage years he'd pampered me so thoroughly Manhattan still coos that he worships the ground I limp on. If I hadn't scrolled those messages I'd never suspect the devotion was shellac. You removed my leg? A beat of silence, wind whipping past his open window. He was driving. I noticed a scratch beneath the kneecap, must have bumped it. I'm having the unit buffed to perfection. No flaw. W touches my queen. Once these speeches sugar-coated my mornings, now they curdle. Almost at the office, babe. Call you later, love you to pieces. Click. Rush job hang up. Guilt stinks even through Bluetooth. From the moment I discovered the cheating I haven't felt the predicted cataclysm, no rage tornado, no tear-stung hysteria. Only a hollow, metallic regret. Regret that Dad's judge of character died with him. Regret that I almost settled for a serviceable, low-noise marriage. Regret that the scaffold of trust one never monitored quietly crumbled. Everyone swears I handed VanceCorp to Victor because I loved him senseless. They're wrong. I simply ran low on bandwidth for both love and boardrooms, and a sabbatical felt luxurious. Victor was a convenient alliance, never my superior. He had no license to betray. My old prosthetic was retired, Victor's word, because cold chrome didn't flatter me. Now the lone survivor had been spirited away, so I reached for the forearm crutches I hadn't leaned on in years. One lap around the penthouse and I surrendered, sinking into the sofa. Clark sensed the fog around me and offered the iPad. Vance, you're always running. Take a breather. My daughter's gone anime crazy, some Comic-Con livestream today. I don't get the costumes, but maybe you will. She meant well, and the chat log had mentioned Comic-Con, so I tapped play. Costume strangers flashed by, nothing dazzling to a woman who'd worn titanium for 15 years. I was about to hand the tablet back when the camera zeroed in on a maid outfit cosplayer topping the viewer charts. Lily, the intern whose midnight text still glowed on Victor's phone. Sparkling on her left knee, my crystal prosthetic, Victor's anniversary present, paved with 10,000 microdiamonds and a cashmere sapphire. Serena, you're too beautiful for ugly machinery, so I flew in a jeweler to build you a leg worthy of the Vance vault. I protested, it screamed ostentatious and stayed hidden under silk anyway. But he insisted, and I let him keep the romantic moment. Only one exists, and only you deserve it. Yes, I collect one-of-a-kind objets, occasionally human. I rang Victor, cutting off his greeting. Retrieve my leg. And fire Lily. Stunned silence. Why the rush? Maintenance finishes this afternoon. Lily hasn't aired. He was still performing. I DM'd him the livestream freeze frame. Victor, stop treating me like an idiot. I'd been bedside at St. Luke's with Theodore. Lily's extraordinary graduate promotion slid past me unchecked. Baby, you're mistaken. Hers must be a replica. I snorted. Didn't you claim mine was one-of-a-kind universe-wide? Silence, the confession he couldn't voice. Serena, Lily's family's dirt poor. I mentor her like a kid sister. She'll return the prosthetic right after Comic-Con, intact, I swear. Don't be angry. So he steals what I stand on and calls it charity? That's your apology for lying? Victor, remember who built the throne you sit on. The barb struck, his tone snapped, no longer honeyed. Your daddy, okay? He plucked a hillbilly like me from nowhere. Happy? That the answer you wanted? Not quite, because you erased me from the equation. I started to say it, but he killed the call with a slam. I listened to the droning beep and felt only ice in my chest. After Mom and Dad died, he was the only person left in this world I could lean on, yet he'd just betrayed me for an intern. Probably because I'd watched that Comic-Con livestream, the platform kept feeding me convention-related content. While scrolling I came across Lily's latest post, several retouched photos captioned, "The person I love most gave me a one-of-a-kind crystal slipper. Crystal leg, actually." The comment section overflowed with praise for her beauty. Top thread, "Is that from your boyfriend? So gorgeous, sis, lucky you. When do we hear the good news?" The implied good news needed no explanation. A tag said the author had replied. I unfolded the replies, "Soon. He still has a few things to settle, then I'll tell everyone." I tapped into her profile, nothing but Comic-Con photos and clips. The pinned video showed a display cabinet lined with assorted prosthetic legs, every one of which had carried me through grueling stretches of my life. Over the years I'd gone through many replacements, each time one fitted perfectly Victor found an excuse to swap it out. Too old, not cutting edge, a prettier design available. I'd stored the discarded limbs in the climate-controlled vault, treating them as fragments of my past self, but he claimed he wanted me to look forward and took care of them. Now they stood in Lily's showcase. Someone had asked, "Sis, why the obsession with prosthetics?" She answered, "Because they're proof I'm loved." I was still staring when Clark announced Victor's return, Lily in tow. She wore immaculate makeup, curled against Victor's side, looking fragile and doe-eyed. He crouched as usual to fit the leg, holding it out to me. "Sorry, babe, I shouldn't have hidden it. Lily queued 2 hours for your favorite pastry so she could apologize. Don't be mad, okay?" At his cue Lily scurried forward. "Serena, I'm sorry. I just adore your legs. I wore one to Comic-Con today, fans went crazy, said it was stunning." Seeing her gloat, I only lowered my eyes and stopped Victor's hands. Was it sterilized? What? The two of them gaped in unison, an oddly matching picture. I shifted in my seat and wiped the spot he'd touched with a tissue. Once my things have been used by someone else I won't touch them again, but rules bend, the new leg won't arrive for weeks, so please send this to be disinfected before bringing it back. Lily's eyes reddened instantly. "Sorry, Vic, it's my fault. Serena's angry at you." I was the angry one, the robbed one, yet Victor was the one receiving the apology. He patted her shoulder, realized how that looked, and awkwardly withdrew. "Don't bully her. I'll drop it off tomorrow, now. Right now." My voice was low and cold. Bully. ING? If I truly aimed at her it would be far less polite. Hearing me, Lily snatched the prosthetic, grabbed disinfectant wipes from the table, and began scrubbing. Soon the largest gemstone popped off and clinked on the marble. Sorry, Vic, I didn't mean it. I was only wiping so Serena wouldn't be mad." "Enough, who asked you to meddle?" His scolding sent tears she'd dammed up cascading. "Sorry, I'll pay for it." I was past irritated. "Can you afford it?" She flushed scarlet, helplessly seeking the man at her side. Victor rubbed her back in silent comfort, then told me, "I'll cover it. Use your forearm crutches for now. Anyway, you have bodyguards when you go out, you won't get hurt." I touched the elbow I'd smashed in the bathroom that morning, it still throbbed. "In what role will you pay for her, big brother or lover? You know I can't function without a leg, yet you sneaked it off to your mistress." My repeated attacks finally ignited him. "Sneaked? Must you be so ugly? It was borrowed. You weren't born yesterday, you lived without a prosthetic before. Quit the melodrama." He tore open old scars and called my agony histrionics. I had no words left, no wish to speak. The slam he gave the door rattled the walls, rage broadcast through wood. Clark's brow creased with worry. "Vance, shall I bring Vance back? Alone together this late, it doesn't look right." I managed a thin smile, propped myself on my crutches, and moved to the window just in time to watch the sports coupe shoot away. In the side mirror I caught the triumphant grin of the passenger. The leg was gone. I picked the expensive gemstone off the floor and pitched it into the waste bin. I tossed in bed that night, finally gave up, and opened my phone to Lily's feed. Not voyeurism, nor petty jealousy, I refused to fight over a man. I wanted evidence for reclaiming marital assets. What's mine can go to charity. She won't keep a cent. Lily must have entered the anime fandom recently, her earliest clips reek of shoe string budgets, cheap costumes, homemade props, minimal editing, pitiful hits. Then, 3 months ago, a pro crew seemed to appear, outfits accessorized with luxury labels, follower count climbing. Her boyfriend's loaded. Such devoted love. Those comments popped up again and again, she liked every single one. I screenshot everything and sent it to Victor. After ages he replied, Lily isn't like you, she fought hard to get here. I just want to shield her innocence. Serena, your aggressiveness is pushing me further away. He followed with a wall of text longer than our marriage vows. I didn't bother reading. Just then Lily updated, a selfie that flaunted the coupe and the man leaning against it. Sea breeze heals everything. I answered Victor with silence and dialed Vance Corp. At 1 a.m. a call jolted me awake. Theodore had been in the hospital for weeks. I sat bolt upright, biting my index finger, afraid of catastrophic news. Vance has crashed. It's serious, family must decide. I groped for a leg that wasn't there before I remembered Victor had taken it. Define serious. Both legs likely unsalvageable. Though if we airlift him abroad immediately, there might be a slim chance. I unclenched my teeth, blood beaded where I'd bitten through the skin, yet my voice stayed ice steady. If it can't be saved, then let it go. This marriage needs an ending that will carve itself into his bones before I can let it wither in peace. Losing a leg was never as effortless as it looked. I admit I've never truly laid that grief to rest. Victor's company simply gave me somewhere to hide the ache. Now he's ripped the scar open with his own hands. It's only a leg, why the drama? I never imagined those words coming from him, delivered as if they were obvious. Fine. Time he tasted the flavor of drama himself. In the morning I had chauffeur drop me at St. I swung in on forearm crutches and Theodore's frown snapped into place the instant he saw me. Why those again? You've been fine with the prosthetic leg for years. I lifted one shoulder, casual. The old socket was pinching, threw it out. The new one ships this afternoon. He tapped my forehead, half smiling. Reckless child. What if you fall? Victor didn't drive you? 8 hours had passed since Hayes called. The amputations would be finished by now. He's tied up. No spare minute. My phone rang before the sentence cooled. Victor. Shouldn't he be sobbing over 2 empty pant legs? I stepped into the corridor. A shrill female voice burst through. Serena, you actually let them amputate Vic. Lily. Last night Hayes mentioned her in a single breath. Concussion, still out, minor external injuries, cranial. The detective said Victor had folded himself over her when they crashed, shielding her from the worst. I couldn't name the feeling, rage? No, more a gray, tired disappointment, maybe a pinch of jealousy I refused to claim. I only followed surgical recommendation, Lily. She sobbed, Vic will hate you forever. I shrugged. Then let your love be enough for him. After tea with Theodore, ICU phoned. Victor was awake and flailing. As his wife I was expected to appear. Gowned and gloved, I reached the bedside. He writhed until the nurse strapped him down to protect the stumps. At the sight of me his eyes spilled over, something I'd never witnessed. Wife, they say my legs are gone. That's a lie, right? Tell me it's a lie. I studied him in silence, pity leaking through. I knew that free fall. Victor, face the numbers. He froze, then slammed back against the pillow, staring at fluorescent nothing. Why? It hurt to watch, but so what? Hayes said a medevac overseas might have saved them if we'd left last night. Hope relit his face. I swallowed a bitter laugh. Legs don't reattach like Lego. But the paperwork is brutal and your only family, would have to travel with you. My prosthetic leg is gone. I can't even hurry through terminals. I can't watch you die, Victor. You understand. The lie. T died. He rolled away, wordless. I'd nothing left to say. At the threshold his whisper chased me, you're still angry, aren't you? Me, human nature. I stayed away after that. Vance Corp devoured my days. Luckily I'd never really left the boardroom, reflexes snapped back fast. Victor phoned daily. When I didn't answer, texts piled up, mostly sermons on how platonic he and Lily were. Eventually I carved out an hour to receive the sermon in person. I knocked and paused at the door like any polite stranger. Lily hovered, spooning congee to his mouth as though both arms were fractured. He startled, shoving her hand away when he saw me. Serena, you came. His gaze dropped to my new carbon fiber prosthetic, then to the flat sheet where his knees should have been. He clenched the bedding and turned his face. Rangia, Vic's been miserable. You couldn't visit once, and now you parade in to upset him? I settled on the cot opposite her, amused. Funny, you know wives get visiting rights, yet here you are, an intern from secretarial. Shouldn't you be at your desk? She glanced at Victor. Vic assigned me. He's management, he's hospitalized, my care is logical. How noble. I wondered if Victor paid her overtime, or if the Louboutins on her feet were bonus enough. Victor pressed his lips shut, so Lily gained courage. Vic used to pamper you. He'd slog through 16-hour days, then go home to babysit a cripple. Now he needs someone and you vanish? You don't deserve him. Lily, enough. Victor finally cut in, eyes flicking to me. Serena, I never said any of that. I rested my chin on laced fingers. But she just delivered the script. So, Victor, when exactly did you become my night nurse? Clark handles my meals, my scheduling, my fittings. You carried me to the tub a few times when I detached the leg, you called it husband duty, and I never stopped you. Victor tried to sit, fell back, voice cracking. Serena, I didn't say those things. Listen, Lily surged forward. Vic, you still protect her feelings? You collapse here after work, too exhausted to talk, while she lounges at home burning your money. So what if she's missing a leg? She's never wanted for anything, designer schools, Aspen weekends, MX Black. We hadn't even boarded a plane before college. You clawed your way out of the mountains to build this life, and she can only share the champagne, not the grind. I'm the one who sees your worth. Her chest heaved, the monologue left her glowing. I felt nothing, except maybe entertained. I slow clapped. Lily, the devotion you show another woman's husband is touching. Victor lowered his head. After a long silence he finally spoke, weakly. Sorry, Serena, I just had too much to drink. I finished the sentence for him. Let me guess, next you'll tell me I'm too aggressive, not fragile like Lily, that I don't need your protection, that I never cling to you completely, so I bruise your male ego? Every man who cheats says the same lines. The night I first saw the messages I still hadn't understood why he'd betray me, but the moment he called me too strong it all clicked. Dad had been right, Victor was insecure to the marrow, and no amount of money or devotion would ever change that. Serena, you and Victor live in two different worlds. I'm afraid you'll get hurt. Remembering Dad's last warning before he died stung my nose with tears. Victor looked at me with something like pity. Sorry, Serena, this will never happen again. You're the only woman I'll love in this life. Right, you love only me, while you sleep with someone else. I shattered his mask with indifferent precision. He suddenly curled up, clutching himself. It hurts, God, it hurts. Lily hurried over, rubbing his back, then took the painkillers from the nightstand, tested the water temperature with her own lips, and fed him the pills. After a minute he settled and, with her help, eased back onto the mattress. Victor isn't exactly slight, he used to promise he'd carry me forever. So he never skipped the gym, but now his weight was a burden for Lily. Once he was settled she wiped the sweat from her forehead. You shouldn't blame Vic, men have needs. If you can't satisfy him, you can't stop him from chasing a better life. Victor tugged her sleeve. Stop. No, I'm going to say it. She bathes in your affection and still makes demands, who is she to accuse you? Her gaze flicked to my prosthetic leg, eyes glinting. Do you know how disgusting that leg is? Vic can't feel desire when he looks at you. He loves my completeness, especially my legs. He always says they're long and slender. Shut your damn mouth. Victor yanked her downward with all his strength and slapped her hard enough to leave a scarlet print. Lily, who gave you permission to speak to her like that? She cupped her cheek, stared at him in wounded disbelief, lips trembling, finally said nothing. The girl who'd just coddled him now wore his handprint, furious yet mute, shedding silent pearls of tears. Serena, those words weren't true. I'm exhausted. Let me explain another day, just the two of us, okay? I smacked my tongue, suddenly bored. Whatever I'd come to do felt pointless now, so I let it drop. I doubt that day will ever come. Back at Vance Corp, my assistant ran through the morning reports, then turned to leave until I stopped him. I wasn't informed when the intern from the secretarial pool was hired. He lifted a brow, surprised. Vance said he'd already cleared it with you. Since Theodore's health is fragile, he told me not to disturb you. So that was the play, act first, report later, betting I wouldn't bother with a little intern. I had to admit, Victor knew me well. Serena's pride is adamant, she never draws her sword on the powerless. But Lily isn't powerless, she keeps jabbing at my baseline, deluded enough to try vaulting onto my throne. Do you happen to know who actually owns this company? He flushed and dropped his gaze. Sorry, Vance. When should I inform? Vance? Aunt. I'll tell him myself. Deal with Lily first. Yes, madam. Victor has seeded Vance Corp with his people for years, even the director is his hand-picked protege. Last month he tried to abolish my assistant's position, I blocked it. Looks like he wants far more than that. That afternoon, while I was reading contracts, receptionist rang. Lily insisted on seeing me or she'd post my story online. I had nothing to hide, so I told her to come up. She stormed straight to my desk. Who gave you the right to fire me? Great question. Because I felt like it. She shrieked like a kettle. Vic won't allow this, he's the CEO. When he gets back he'll throw you out. I couldn't decide whether she was naive or plain stupid. You've worked here almost a month and still don't know the company is surnamed Vance? She lifted her chin. So what? That's only the present, the future is up for grabs. Your rich families never give empires to crippled daughters. If your father really meant you to inherit, he wouldn't have groomed Vic all these years. Serena, I've known Vic for ages. I know how brilliant he is, how much he deserves a better life. You lost the right to be Vance long ago. A coup, then, staged by someone who hadn't even read the syllabus. In a palace drama she'd die before the first commercial break. I asked myself how a creature this foolish had managed to muddy my perfect life. Lily, did you forget your brain on the subway? I sit here ordering subordinates around, did you think we're playing house? Or maybe darling Vic forgot to mention, he's merely the CEO I hired, an expensive employee. This company has zero to do with him, past, present, or future. One thing you're wrong about, my father never groomed him. He sponsored hundreds of poor kids, Vic happened to be one. He's here because I misread him and handed him a ladder. By the time I finished, no face-saving thread remained. I'd always been clear-eyed about my marriage, if I weren't Dad's daughter, Vance Corp's hey. Victor, whatever affection he felt, might never have married me. The reverse was also true, a man I could control, one who could steady the ship if storms ever came. Lily lurched forward, complexion whiter than hospital paint. Impossible. Vic isn't some toy boy. Your smears won't make me quit. Vic is only pacifying you out of respect for old Vance. You ruined him, he'll never forgive you. Now I saw the attraction, a brain and outlook this small are catnip to a man's savior complex and conquest drive. What are you laughing at? At her question I touched my own lips, so I had laughed out loud. Nothing. The decision's final. Go clean out your desk. Or shall I phone your Vic and ask him to escort you? I wonder if you even told him you were coming here to throw a tantrum. After Lily left, I took the divorce papers I'd drafted weeks ago from the drawer. I'd planned to tell Victor today, but divorce is a private contract between two people, no third soul belongs in the room. I didn't go to the hospital. Every morning Hayes sent me the same brief, vitals stable, spirits low. The day they discharged him I happened to be home. I watched the chauffeur roll him through the door, and for a heartbeat the years collapsed. Serena, I'm home. Every sharp reply dissolved in my throat. All that escaped was, In all our years together we had never stood like this, face to face with nothing to say, the air thick as resin. He gripped the wheel rims and glided until a single yard separated us. I've hired home health. They've handled everything this month. The moment he crossed the threshold I knew, Lily hadn't followed. Victor motioned for home health to lift him onto the sofa. The empty drape of his slacks hurled me back a dozen winters. Serena, this past month I've done nothing but think. I wanted to explain, to apologize, but nothing ever feels sufficient. I remember the fight, the hideous words I hurled at you. That night the car wrapped around a tree and took my legs, looks like cosmic bookkeeping. Lily. I kept meaning to come clean. She's who I was before the scholarships, raw, hungry, so I let her edge closer until the leash snapped. I drank, yes, but I wasn't blackout drunk. When she whispered, Vic, you've worked so hard, something inside me shattered. No one had asked if I was tired in years. I've loved you, treasured you, but I never dared show you my cracks. I was terrified you'd see a fraud. The poison snowballed. Still, it's over now. I wronged you, life maimed me, call it even. We start fresh tomorrow, right? I listened to the full soliloquy without interruption. That he dared frame it as a clean slate left me almost impressed. I gave a slow, pitying shake of the head. Why on earth would I keep a husband who's now half a man? I spun my wedding band twice, a soft tug and it slid free, mirroring how effortlessly our marriage had jumped the tracks. Before surgery Hayes conferred with surgeons in 3 countries. Salvage was impossible, so spare me the martyr fantasy. You borrowed my sports coupe, chased mountain thrills with Lily, and wrapped us around an oak. Balance the ledger? You can't even read the columns. You owe me more than any lifetime can pay, yet you expect absolution and breakfast in bed. I flicked the thick folder onto his lap. Sign. Legal has already itemized the reckoning. He didn't flinch, he'd rehearsed this moment. Pressing the heels of his hands to his eyes, he exhaled pure fatigue. Serena, please, don't. If Lily still enrages you, she's dead to me, deleted, blocked, vanished. Even now he believed our collapse hinged on a 22-year-old intern. Typical, husbands reduce marriage to love or libido. Spare me the monologue. Just sign. Never. I refuse, he snarled, lunging for the papers and shredding them like confetti. Momentum dumped him onto the Persian rug, legs splayed in obscene angles. He clawed the coffee table and barked at home health, help me up, damn it. I stepped over him. It's only 2 lost legs, Victor. Since when did you become such a drama queen? Every syllable he once hurled at me now ricocheted back. I'm sorry, Serena, so sorry, he croaked. A soft laugh scraped my throat. Empathy at last. Don't worry, seeing you grovel feels therapeutic. I keep a printer's worth of copies. Keep shredding if it eases the grief. When you tire of the confetti, autograph the last page. From tonight you occupy the guest wing. 1 week to vacate my house, consider it charity. Alone in the master suite, I stretched across acres of linen and slept the sleep of the resolute. Perhaps I was born for solitude. Morning. I was fastening earrings when Victor wheeled himself into the foyer. Serena, headed to Vance Corp? Let's ride together, share a car, share dreams. I wagged a single finger. You're terminated. Effective now, I'm reclaiming every perk I ever gifted. His phone clattered to the marble, terror blooming in his eyes, exactly the bloom I'd hoped to cultivate. For Victor, career was oxygen, remove it and he deflates. I dissolved your secretariat and escorted your loyalists off the premises yesterday. You whined I was too domineering, but the truth is simpler, you forgot who owned the throne. That was the last time I saw him. When I returned, the dining table held a single sheet, divorced, signed, finished. Clark said he'd parked outside the master suite for hours, then left with nothing but the clothes he wore. Lily tried to smear me online for abandoning a crippled husband. Her rant never left draft. My team deplatformed her in under 60 seconds. She wanted public sympathy, I gave her infamy instead. My exposé detonated across Instagram, trolls chased her offline. She barged into Vance Corp, mascara streaking. Serena, you're a cripple, you deserve to be a cripple. Calmly I produced the medical folder I guarded like a blade. Post-crash scans. You've a brain tumor the size of a walnut. Surprise. She stumbled out, mascara painting cheeks, probably hunting for Victor's help. Good luck. He left penniless, tumors cost money. A year later his obituary hit my inbox. On my 30th birthday the courier wheeled in the crystal prosthetic that had vanished the night of the crash. Tucked inside a suede-lined cavity was a card. Serena, I still wasn't strong enough. Meeting you was the luck of my life. Only an ex-husband could time a death notice for a birthday. I burned the card to ash. The one-of-a-kind crystal leg followed it into the waste bin beneath Vance Corp's lobby windows. At sunset I raised my glass to the glass skyline and murmured, Happy birthday, Serena. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next episode.